Take what? Take it away. Jesus Christ. Do you know what a tough act he is to follow? Holy cow. He's talking about great stuff. I'm talking about, oh, I always have problems in Germany. I sound like a fucking whiner. For
you know.
It's always because I'm being mistreated by people who are supposed to be my friends. You know, teaching me to say Kaltamushi to my colleagues and things like that. Back at Sylvester last year. I will say Sylvester in Zul. Where we will be going on Monday.
Yes, that's right.
We're going to see Andre. Yeah. Who's going with us, by the way? Oh, you fuckers. It's just going to be us.
Who remembers Andre?
We'll say hi for you.
Yeah, we'll drink a few pints for you.
A few pints, right? Gallons, Jesus. When I was here for the New Year, I was traveling with a good friend of mine who stayed, and he was just enchanted by the whole thing. He wants to go back to the Ringer too. He didn't have the money though. And since Night Fox's place was kind of crowded, he didn't have room for 2 extra goofy Americans. He got us a little room in a little bed and breakfast. We call it a bed and breakfast, a little tiny inn that is just near his house in Pickwick. And when we were leaving, the manager said to us, "Oh, I have for you this a German Christmas cake, traditional Christmas cake to take home to your friends." I said, "Oh, isn't that nice?" He handed me. I said, "Oh, great! This is what I excited. Open the bag. Open the bag. Oh, damn! Yeah, thank you, Dankeschön. Yeah." So we hopped ourselves into Night Fox's car, and 10.3 seconds later, we were in Dusseldorf Airport. The Jaeger car, the little orange meteor, that thing. The Night Fox, have you ever seen the speedometer in that car? It goes from 400 to 900. Yeah. He got us to Dusseldorf, and the problem was it was snowing. Our flight had been canceled. And I was going to get all American on the lady, but she actually gave us a train ticket down to Frankfurt. So, okay, we took a train down to Frankfurt, dragging this bag behind us there. I know some of you, have you ever flown internationally when you go to Frankfurt, especially if you want to go to the United States? It's, you get off in Frankfurt and then you have to walk to Bonn to get on your international flight. It's like, no.
Make them clackety boards.
Yes. Technology, guys. We has it. So we got up to security, and you know when you go on a flight to America, America is the only country that's ever had a security risk, right? Yeah. So I put my bag on the X-ray thing, and I tried to take all the metal out of my pockets, but apparently my teeth fillings were too big for them. Because when I went through, I got beeped, and of course the guy comes up, and he gets the thing, Okay, go. So I went over, thinking I will now board my plane to America. No. Because there she was. There she was, with the helmet and the horns and the long run. Her, Helga. I always meet Helga. You remember I talked about her last year? Helga's the lady who is 1.7 meters in every direction. She has my bag. And I walked up to her, and she said, "Deutsch oder English?" And I said, English. But she said, "This is your bag?" I said, yes, it's mine Henke. And she said, "We believe you have a cake which is stolen." Now, that doesn't sound bad to you guys. But think about what an American thinks. An American who doesn't understand the difference between stolen and gestolen. You have a stolen cake. Oh my God! No, gift. Also wrong thing to say in Germany. Apparently that means poison, I'm told. Like it says, "Komm mit mir, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Which is kind of cute. You ever seen a beach ball trying to goose step? 1, 2, 1, 2. We went into that little room the door disappears when you close it, so you don't see it anymore. And inside the room was, I didn't get his name, it was probably Helmut or something. Yes, he's in there, he's sitting at a desk, he's sitting like this. And I went in, and Helga was very serious, she took the bag down in front of Helmut, and he says, open please. My hands were shaking. I'm in trouble. What's going to happen? They're going to arrest me. I don't know what to do. I said, open it up. I opened it up and opened it, and she pointed, yeah, stolen! That was the new German word I learned. We call it fruitcake in English. And he took a breath and got his tools out, and he took the forceps with cotton, and he reached inside, and he's rubbing it all over the cake, and he's putting it in the machine, and he rubs it all over this side, and he puts it in the machine, and he sits back again. And I'm waiting for it to come up, and I said, excuse me, Helmut, warum diesen Bullshitten? And he said, the stolen cake has the same density in the X-ray as C4 explosive. Oh, really? So you're saying that the X-ray technician thought I had a 40-kilogram block of C4 with nutmeg and walnuts on it? This is the holiday season. Does this happen a lot at this time of year? He said, yeah, today, number 5. So we packed up my stolen. Again, he said, you may go. So I packed up, I'm dragging, I'm walking with Helga. It's fine. And I said to her, Helga, do you know what stolen means in English? And for a very, very short moment, for a microsecond, the corner of her mouth curved up. And her entire face shattered. And fragments of shrapnel shot off. One of them cut my nose, and they embedded themselves in the wall. And I turned and I looked, and all it was a skull looking at me and smoke coming out of the eyes. She said, have a nice day. I'm fine. I hate to say it, but that seems to be the most intimate experience I've had with a woman, but at my age, you take it where you can get it, okay?
She probably thought that you could, date her.
I would have dated her. I could have rolled up in a roll of flab and retired.
I had one guy once, a fan of mine, and he came up and he's like, hey, 2 for president! And I'm like, it's sweet. I don't know if I could get a pizza delivered faster. I'm sure I could, and I do it too. I'd be on the phone with Pizza Hut. Yes, I need a Big Mother's pizza delivered to the White House immediately, or a flood of zombies is going to invade from Sarah Palin's vagina. Yes, it will be like the clown car of the deceased. It will smell like Sarah Palin queefed from space. Can I get breadsticks for that? But I wouldn't turn the job down because it would be too much fun to screw with capital punishment. I don't know what the rules are with capital punishment in Germany. But in the United States, if they decide that you've committed a bad enough crime, they kill you. So guess what? You die. I would mess with this. I would screw that. I would go over all over the country. I would replace all of the electric chairs with slap chops.
All the slap chops?
Slap chops. One of these damn things. I would completely replace it with that. No, wait, that's right, America. You want to execute any more retarded people, you got to do it with this. So, what's this? Tie it down to a chair and just flip a switch and it's over? No, that's weak. From now on, you gotta strap Corky down and watch him flail like a baboon on a broken roller coaster while you slap chop his ass until he dies. That's an execution. And if government's going to kill people, might as well make it fun for the rest of us. And then, that'd be another rule too. That'd be another rule I'd make. No strapping the arms down. Can't do that anymore. I don't care what you strap them to a table or a chair, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you've done, murder, rape, treason, doesn't matter. If you're going to be legally put to death, you should have the God-given right to beat the hell out of the person doing it. I think. And, under my administration, the person who would carry out the execution would always be the judge who ordered it, personally. Every time. Yeah. Sitting behind a desk in a fancy black robe and deciding to end the life of a fellow human being over your morning cup of cafe fucking Olay without getting your hands dirty. In my administration, the government wanted somebody dead, they'd have to dive right in and get blood on their hands too. Yeah. And naked. They'd have to do it naked. And in a cold room so their nipples would stand out. And the only drug administered would be this potent form of PCP to both of them. The shit could go on for days. The problem is, I've talked with people, sometimes I don't get capital punishment. I've talked to people who support it. And I'm like, why? How can you support the idea of it's right to kill this guy because it was wrong to kill a guy? It doesn't make sense to me. And most of the time, what they tell me is, well, they're a drain on society and my money has to support my money. So, okay, fine. If we're going to kill people because they're a drain on society, why stop with the people in prison? Why not go out for other people? Why not the bum laying in the ditch? Doesn't have a house anymore. How about the guy standing on the highway with a sign that says, we'll stop your Toyota for food? They're not making the world a better place. Let's get rid of them too. Problem is, you can't just sort of shove them into a black sedan and take off. That's a little bit too sinister. That's why we need ninjas. Follow me here. What we need is, we need to wait. We pick the guy we're going to kill. Wait until he's walking home late at night. And when he least expects it, a team of naked slap chop ninjas jump out of the trees, rip his clothes off, and start slap chopping his ass to death. Right? In a strobe light. Also in a strobe light. I would have naked, cracked up strobe light slap chop ninja executions. I would film all of them, also naked, and I would put them on TV all over the world so we could bring the families back together. What do you think about the family? I think that there needs to be some more executions on TV to bring the families back together.
Well, they're not getting together now. We might as well have something with a mutual interest for them.
Yes, exactly. At least it would be fun. Slap chop, executions, ninjas.
I like the idea. I say 2 for president.
No. I don't want a job. I don't want a job.
You've got a good start. What about your economic policy? How would you fix the economy over there?
Okay, the American economy is pretty bad right now. There's 2 things I would do to fix it. First of all, I would legalize marijuana. Fuck it. Far more people get killed from drinking and driving. When you get stoned, you don't want to go out in a car. All you want to do is sit and watch TV and eat potato chips. And the second thing is I have something that I'm going to call the one-punch law. And that is, as long as it's one punch, you can't sue anybody, you can't be arrested. One-punch law. You get one punch. And I would line up, the first person I would put up in front of an entire crowd of people would be Sarah Palin. $5 per punch. I could balance the entire global economy in a fucking week. Because the entire world would line up to just punch.